Hello, everyone. It's a very hot day in the UK, but I've been delaying this for far too long, and I need to update my game list again. I've been buying a lot more games, PAL, North American, and some Japanese titles as well. And I'm gonna share them out. I'm gonna just put them in alphabetical order. There's gonna be killer and filler, but there are some fantastic killer PAL games being added, including one of the golden eggs of PAL. So yeah, get ready for another list breakdown as I show you my new updated collect. So yeah, as last time in my video I put them in sports, killer, and like extra bonus stuff in my video. If it wasn't so hot, I would have reorganized this. I actually have already put them into alphabetical order to put them on my shelf space. So I hope you understand that we're going through this alphabetical this time. But you know, you're gonna know when the golden eggs of the PS2 are, and we start with a golden egg. It is a Phoenix game. It is Capasa, yeah, Capasa Neng. This Phoenix game is probably one of the few Phoenix games which is based on an IP and supposedly is actually pretty decent. Complete in box, by the way. Yeah, this game is notoriously hard to find now. Obviously, it's more of a European only exclusive item. There are people that have bought it and have, you know, decided to grade it, which I think is a waste of time, but there you go. One to look out for power collectors. Of course, Phoenix game. There are Phoenix games that are now just ridiculously expensive. This is one to look out for. Our first Japanese only game already. Adventures of Tokyo Disney Sea. It is one of the few Japanese only Japanese only PlayStation games that came to Japan. It's based on the water parks of Tokyo. And yeah, a game that I think's not going to be too much of a big deal with language barrier, but it looked interesting when I looked at gameplay, so I wanted it in my collection. A sports series that is actually hard to collect for PAL collectors, the AFL series. This is AFL Live Premiership Edition. It is a subset I'm trying to finish off now. Australian only release. I think one of these, I think AFL 2004 was the only game that ever came outside of Australia, but the rest of these are very much Australian exclusives. Trying to grab them all one by one, but yeah, another AFL game in the library. I actually know nothing about this one, but I saw it in a lot in a Japanese collection, and I wanted to grab it. This is Bascalian. I don't know, but it just looked incredibly weird. An anime based basketball game, and I was like, you know what? I'm sure this is a unique title for the Japanese market, and why not give it a go? I'm gonna check it out. This is complete in box, but I'm keeping it in the packet for the time being that the seller sent it in. So there we go, Bascaleon. One of those PAL games I thought I had, never thought much about it, but when you go through your library and realize actually you don't. Battle Engine Aquila. It is a mech shooter game. I always love it when like there's very cheap PAL games. It's good for me, but good that a PAL game like this is cheap, and I for some reason missed out on it. Battle Engine Aquila. I have no idea what to expect for this game, but I see it a lot. It is Beck the Game, and some sort of Japanese IP based on like some Guitar Hero esque style controls. No idea what to expect from this, but I'm giving it a go. Thought why not add it to the collection. Now this is actually a Japanese game I wanted for a long time because it actually has a English fan translation. The Berserk game. Yes, it is a quite sought after PS2 title. I think also because it is a fan translation. Complete in box, by the way, but I'm so glad to finally have this iconic game for my collection. I've been trying to finish off this subset for the PS2, slowly getting there. It is trying to get all the Bomberman games. There are a lot of Bomberman games that only came out in Japan. Bomberman 1, Bomberman Land 2, 3. There's Bomberman Jettas, which is a weird one because it's a Bomberman game that only came out in Japan, but also came out in North America, but only on GameCube. So it's a very weird one, that one. But yeah, this is Bomberman Land 2 to add to my collection. I love Bomberman, and I can't wait to really check out all the Japanese titles one by one. I think this is one of the last, if not the last, Buzz Kids game I needed. Buzz Kids Ace Racers. One of the more harder ones to find. This was one of the ones that was just only a bit more pricey than the rest, but I'm glad to finally have the last Buzz Kids game. I've yet to play any of these yet, but I'm sure they're going to play just fine. They're made for kids, and I'm sure they're going to be entertaining for kids. The last Crash Bandicoot game I needed. This one has been... I've kind of avoided buying it for a long time, but you see the price creep of it, and I thought, why not grab all the Crash Bandicoots now? So this is the final one I needed. Crash, was it? Yeah, Mind Over Mutant. But, yep, complete in box and now a part of the collection. So that is all the Crash games collected now. So this is quite the iconic PS2 shooter. It is the love between two brothers, Choaniki, the insanely crazy PS2 shoot 'em up. And yeah, I'm glad to grab it now myself as well. I've seen stuff about this game and I've wanted to own it forever, so I'm glad to have it myself and one day enjoy this crazy, crazy vibes. Don't know much about this game really, but it was in a bundle I bought. It's called Code Age Commanders. It looks quite interesting. It's a Square Enix game as well. Language barrier is going to probably be my huge problem with this one though, so always taking a risk with these. Japanese only like action RPGs or RPGs. I'll give them a go though. I'll give them a go during my challenge, and hopefully, it's nothing too much I can get over with the use of translation apps. One of our first North American games that I've been wanting for a long time in my collection. It's Concept. It's quite interesting, kind of like monster training, deck building. Plays a bit like Fortune Streets, if you know that, or Daki Streets, from what I've seen. But it involves monsters battling each other as well to keep zones in control and under control. But yeah, it's one of these more weird games that I've wanted to grab forever, and I'm very glad to own it now, and one day eventually play it. You've always got a load of these on the PS2, and here we have Dance Party Club Hits. It's just, you know, your typical dance party game with many licensed music tracks, and yeah, you know, what's more to say? Dance party songs. Another rare North American game that I finally owned. Paid a little bit of money for this, but wanted to grab it, being the collector I am. It's Dokapon Kingdom. Oh, yes. Love the look of the art style on the box here. And yeah, once again, this is another game that kind of plays like Fortune Street. You probably may have played one or two of these games before. It was quite a popular game design, really, back in the day. I remember playing a GBA game that played like this, involving Looney Tunes, like Looney Tunes around the world. But yeah, I've always wanted to check out and play Dokapon Kingdom, and now that we own it, one day I'll play it in my challenge. And of course, while I was grabbing this, I saw this online and thought, why not? It was cheap. I got the Japanese Dokapon Kingdom, but it's called Dokapon The World. It's a different game. It plays more like an RPG. It looked really cool. Language barrier will be a slight issue, but, you know, why not? I thought, screw it. If I'm getting Dokapon Kingdom, I might as well grab this cool-looking game at the same time. Now, for you wrestling fans out there, I finally own this game. It's another one that's been hard to find and to complete my 505 game published collection. Fire Pro Wrestling Returns. This is a weird one. This is one of those classic 505 games which never actually got an English box art release, but instead was released in Italy. I think because 505 Games was an Italian company. But I've heard good things about this, and I finally own Fire Pro Wrestling Returns. It's another one of those really uncommon getting to the point of rare PAL games. So if you want to get some of your harder games to find in your collection done quickly, this is one to look out for. Another weird Japanese game, I believe this is called the five board games adventures or something. It is a Japanese only game where there is a quest. There's an adventure game involving playing board games against the AI. I have no idea what to expect from this game, but you know, the front appealed to me, and I kind of looked a little bit into this, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a go, and who knows? Hopefully, language barrier once again isn't too bad on this one. Another Japanese game coming up. It's called Get Ride Am Driver. I don't know what the full title of this is, but it looked awesome. It's a mech game. Why not? Yeah, strategic, as you can see there, 3D strategic action mech game. Looks cool. So why not? We love our mechs. We love walking around in big suits and kicking butt. So, and Japan have so many of these exclusives that why don't we give this one a go? Another North American exclusive. It's gonna be some paintball. Greg Hastings Tournament Paintball Mixed. Yes, this is a North American exclusive. There's a few paintball games. One came out in PAL. Two of them, well, I still need to get one of them. Two of them only were in North American. I can't remember the name of the other one on the top of my head now. But yes, a couple of paintball games are North American exclusives. This is one of them. And yeah, glad to have it in the collection. Now, I wasn't lying when I said at the start of this video that I had some killer titles to be added to my collection, and this is probably one of the top 5 killers of the PAL collection. One of the hardest games to find, and this is probably one of the most expensive games I've bought in my life so far. It is the infamous Gun Club. Oh, yes. Now, I'll address the elephant in the room because everyone wants to know usually what is this version of the Gun Club. Of course, it is the Italian version. I am not bothered about this. I will let you know now I spent nearing 300 British pounds for this copy. And when a sealed copy on eBay just recently sold, an English sealed copy sold for £1,200, I'll gladly take the blow. It is complete in box, so. And yeah, my God, this is. If you want rare PAL, this is it. This exact same game is in North America for about $15. But that beloved 505 logo and the fact that this is part of the PAL collection, I'm trying to get a full PAL collection. This game is one you need to grab. It's these people talk about Rule of Rose and Kuon and everything. This game never goes on sale. This game never gets listed online. This is a golden egg of the PS2 PAL collection. Grab it while you can. It's just going up and up and up. Another North American exclusive. Nothing too special to brag home about, but is the High Rollers Casino. I've heard, I've heard very bad things about this one. The reviews online, when I quickly look into it, aren't the greatest. And let's be real, casino games don't really have a lot of meat in the pie usually. But we'll see when we finally get around to this North American exclusive and find out if it is as bad as what people have actually said. Another one in the 505 game subset I needed. You're going to see a bit of a pattern here, obviously. But this is another huge banger off the list. This is just also going up in price. 505 games did a lot of shoot 'em ups, localized them. This is the English box art variant, by the way. Yeah, 505 games. Someone in the dev team or the publisher team definitely must have loved the shoot 'em ups and wanted them to come over to PAL because that's what 505 games definitely published a lot of. Shout out to a member of the community, Undercode, for helping me get this in my hands. His retro store in Europe had a copy of this, and it was this English variant, and he was gladly able to organize it with me, so I have this in my collection now. So shout out to Undercode for getting this over here. Another North American exclusive, Jet X2O. Yeah, look at this weird one, eh? This is a jet ski game that only got released in North America. Looks pretty interesting. Got to get them all anyway. And yes, has with everything else in it as well. But it is lovely to own. Now, this is another one of those games where, for PAL collectors, look out for it. I don't know when you're ever going to get a copy of this. I eventually just cracked and bought this one. It came up online on eBay, and I just snapped this up quickly. K1 World JP is part of the Essential Games Published Collection, another subset I'm trying to fully complete. And yeah, this one popped up. I will let you know that this is not complete in box, but I only paid like £20 for this. And yeah, I mean, good luck finding a copy of this online. This is insanely hard to find. I never see this online. I see probably my life of collecting PS2 games. I've seen one or two of these listed every year, and one was on. Well, one recently just got sold, complete in box, £80 it was, and someone finally bit the bullet. I think £80 actually is not a fair price. It's actually a fair price to pay for this when you just never see it. So yeah, look out for this. It's one of the very rare, hard to find PAL PS2 sport games. Now, this is going to be our first interesting one. Well, why have I got a PS4 game? Well, it's because this is Kamiwaza, Way of the Thief. Now, this game only came out in Japan, but many years later, Nipponichi Software decided to completely port and English translate the game onto PS4. It is basically the same game as this, but with upscale graphics and English translation being the main thing. I finally bought this game for my collection for the purpose of playing the PS4 version. We'll quickly put this in during the challenge and see what it looks like, but we'll be playing and beating it on the PS4 for, you know, reasons that you lot can understand the game more. And it is from my knowledge and what everything I've looked into and research, they are one and the same, apart from, maybe a few little bits in between. Now, he's gonna do it again. Yes, this is it. Well, what? Yep, here we go. This is another. Oh god, it's the wrong way around for you guys. There we go. This is another PS2 original Japanese release that eventually got an English translation. This is Kowloon. Now, there are some more differences between the PS2 and PS4 version, but not as much. I think there's a few quality of life improvements from this one to this one, but to make life easier, I'll say that I've played this game. We'll put this game in, see what it looks like, and then beat the PS4 version like the same. It's got English translation. It has like a more fleshed out art design and everything, but there is another. There's on the PS2. This got another like extra content one with extra DLC. This game does not have the DLC and extra content, so I grabbed this for the intents of beating it with the PS4 version. Either way, it's another Japanese only game I needed, and luckily with modern technology, we now have a dev team that decided to publish it, localize it, and I'll eventually enjoy it. Always trying to finish this subset off. It's really hard to find these games though, but you can see at the bottom there, it is a simple 2000 game, one that didn't come out into PAL after many attempts from different publishers. This is, I believe, The Last Soldier, a PAL exclusive PS2 game. Yes, I'm very interested to play this. I do love the simple 2000 games. They are incredibly, bare bones, but there is just some beauty and oddity about it that I can't ignore. Another interesting Japanese-only sports title I've seen wanted to grab. It is Let's Run the Takoshi Marathon or something. But honestly, it looks like a really fun life sim game involving you training up a marathon runner. And yeah, I thought, why not? These are the kind of PS2 Japanese titles that I want to grab and see what made it stay in Japan or what made it unique for the system. Another simple 2000 game. Yeah, it is. There are Mahjong games on the PS2, and this is Love Mahjong. It looks like it's full of content and gameplay. And one of these days, we will finally learn how to play Mahjong. It might be this game, who knows? And yeah, have some nice company while doing so. Now, this is the last 505 Lupin the Third game I needed. Lupin the Third, Le Aventure, Il Toro del Strega. I'm butchering the name. But I've had this for a while, actually, but there's a reason why I waited till I had another game to show this off. It is the North American Lupin the Third. Now, these games are really interesting, or this one in particular is really interesting because this was dubbed by the Adult Swim guys, and I believe there must have been some sort of exclusive rights or, issues where the PAL version couldn't have the English dub because this is dubbed in Italian and is fully Italian voiced. So these two games are initially the same, but with slightly different box arts, as you can see. And this one has the English dub, while this one does not. So it's nice to have both in the collection, but obviously we'll be playing the North American version when the time comes to finally checking out the Lupin the Third games. And this is, apart from the Gachapon Pachinko games that are on the PS2, this is the last Lupin the Third game I needed to complete the Lupin the Third trilogy of PS2 action games. Another game I didn't know I had, and I'm going to show two off this time around. This is the Music Making series. We have Music Maker and Music Maker Deluxe Edition. These are two completely different games to my knowledge. One has more music tracks than the other. This is obviously available in PAL and North America, but this is a North American exclusive to my knowledge. They are one and the same, apart from obviously one boasts way more music tracks than the other. I think this one has 3,000 samples. This one has 12,000 samples. But yes, never had this Music Maker series on the PAL. It's actually called a Magic Music Maker, by the way. And yeah, we also now have the Magic Music Maker Deluxe Edition as well. So two more games to add and part of the Music Maker franchises. I've seen this for a long time. I wanted it in my collection for a long time, and I finally have it. It's a glorified demo, really. It's the McDonald's Happy Disc. This was a promotional physical release only in Japan for McDonald's. It is basically a demo disc of Ape Escape, 2001, and Parappa the Rapper 2, and they change signboards or content to aim towards the McDonald's marketing. Also, there's a bonus video that I will watch once I get round to it, which involves a certain Ape Escape chimp and goofy shenanigans. But yeah, this is basically a demo. It'll be a very short game to beat, but one I wanted in my collection, and yeah, I just love the look of it. Now, I'm a huge Metal Slug fan, and this is a Japanese-only Metal Slug game that I'm so glad to finally get. It is called Metal Slug, but to some people they call it Metal Slug 3D. Is a 3D action Metal Slug game. Now, here's the kicker. This game is Japanese only, but has an English dub with it. I believe this was one day planned to come out to North America markets and Western markets, but it never did. So all the tech, there is only Japanese text and all the tutorials and everything are in Japanese, but the dub is fully English. And I'm so glad to get this now, finally, and can't wait to play it because I actually I have a soft spot for the Metal Slug series. I played this a lot as a kid, especially Metal Slug 1. There was an arcade machine where I used to go a lot with my family, and I played it to death. And one day I can't wait to check out Metal Slug 3D. Another super interesting, unique Japanese-only game I've wanted to get forever. This is Moji Ribbon. It is a very interesting game where you kind of beatbox to Japanese kanji. You like write. The concept is you write a poem or you write like lyrics, and then the character Moji here will move along and paint the characters, and it'll be a rap. Don't know what to expect. The language barrier is going to be obviously a huge problem, but we'll get to that point when we reach it. Also, I love the character in itself, the attention to detail. Obviously, it's a game involving you painting characters and kanji and like everything like that. But the text as its initials for its face is just great attention to detail. But a game I've really wanted to check out and play. The next game I'm grabbed is another music making game, MTV Music Generator 3. It's another, obviously, what more is there to be said about this? You're making music, and yeah, eventually we'll try and make a very decent soundtrack for a beat requirement, or at least deep dive into this and give it a good go. Now I'm going to butcher this. It's a Japanese only shoot 'em up. I believe it's called Mushi Hama Sama. Sorry for the butchering. It basically translates to Insect Princess, but is a very sought after Japanese exclusive shoot 'em up. It's an important subset of the PS2 libraries, shoot 'em ups, especially the Japanese only regional exclusives, and one that I will eventually play one day. And to wrap things up, this is another very I don't think many people know about this. I've even got this sealed, but well, kind of sealed. I will be opening this one day anyway. Music Maker Rockstar. Now, yes, this is a game. This is a very obscure game. You don't really know much. You don't really hear much about it. You don't see much about it. I don't even think to the day of recording CEX even have this listed as a game, but it is a PAL game. It is a PS2 game. It is an English release game. There is no like, and CEX are against, usually anything that was outside of the UK, but this is fully English, fully UK. And surprised, I've never seen it listed on CX still. Maybe no one traded it in. Maybe it's very rare and obscure. But be aware of this game. Grab it while you still can. It is definitely a game you never really hear about, let alone see. And yeah, Music Maker Rockstar. Now we're on to the letter N's, and there's killer and there's filler, and to some people this will be a lot of filler. But the subset of basketball games, even for PAL, is humongous. I'm not even including North American college football and basketball games, but they're a thing in North America exclusive. There was still NBA games I needed. I think there's about, to my knowledge, 20 or so NBA games, and this is going to be, I believe, the last PAL NBA games I needed, plus other sport games I needed. So get ready for this, and here's our first NBA title. It is NBA 2K8. Yes, the 2K series that competed against the EA franchise. And you can't have 2K8 without 2K9, another one I needed. Once again, complete in box. There we go, an NBA game off the list. The last EA NBA game I think I needed, NBA Live 06. The EA franchise one. Now also in the collection, and obviously one day eventually able to be beaten once I get through all of these basketball titles. I'll show these both off as I needed both these in the subsets as well for more NBA. NBA Street 1 and 3. I had number 2, but all the NBA Street games are just creeping up. Well, to be honest, everything PS2 is creeping up. I still say NBA Streets 2 is the hardest one to find and the more expensive, but be aware of this one now. NBA V3 is now going up, and yeah, if you want to get a subset of all the street games, grab the NBA Street games for PAL as soon as, because they are all moderately creeping up in value. Speaking of Street games, it's the other Street franchise I finally have maxed out and finished now. It is the NFL Street Collection, NFL Street 3. Now also complete. So this is all the NFL games I believe I've now got in my collection for PAL. And as I always try to get, I try to get the logos if I can, because I do like that little attention to detail. I'm not fully bothered about it, but if I can get those holograms, I do like grabbing them. And the other sports title is NHL 2K6. It is another and final hockey game, I believe, I needed in my PAL collection. I will have to double check this, but even all the NHL games are now complete as well and finalized. The sun has decided to show its face during the rest of this recording, but another Phoenix game I needed. Obliterate. There's the Phoenix logo, barring the sun. Complete in box. This is a English version. You know, this game is still pretty okay to grab, depending on where you are. You know, if I'm not that fussed if it's an English box art variant, but if I can, I do like to get them. But this is Obliterate, another Phoenix game, very arcadey by the looks of it, and I'm sure nothing to run home about, but still another Phoenix game off the Phoenix subset. Now here's an interesting one. I already have this game in my collection. Off-Road Extreme. It's a Phoenix game, date design. Now, while I was looking about and talking to my good friend Syked, who has been working very hard on a PS2 database, I came across this. Off-Road Extreme Special Edition. You'll notice one thing already on the front of the box art. Phoenix Games' logo has been removed from the Special Edition. But to my knowledge, I don't know what else the difference is, but Syked has said that they are different slightly. They are slightly different in design, slightly different content. So, yeah, I had to grab it. The Special Edition is now in my collection, and when we do get around to playing Off-Road Extreme and Special Edition, we will find out what the true difference between these is, rather than it just being special. Back to some more sports games that I needed to fill, and we are going to show. I'm going to quickly show these off all together. Actually, Pro Manager 2003 and 4. Premier Manager 2004 to 2005. And Premiership Manager 2008. All now in my collection, and I've yet to play any of these sport management games, but I really should get around to playing them at some point. I'm sure I might like them. I don't know. I've been pleasantly surprised with this challenge so far and played games out of my comfort zone that I've not ever played. So we will see how Premiership Manager plays, or Premier Manager, sorry, plays when the time comes. Once again, I thought I had the subset completed, but when you look up online and look at your database, you're wrong. We didn't have PES 2012, Pro Evolution Soccer. Now, I would address this game has become quite expensive. I decided to grab the German version. It was insanely cheap, so I thought, why not? I believe this game plays in English. I should really boot up and double check. If it doesn't, then I will have to buy an English copy. But as I said, I'm not 100% fussed about the game and its box art. Well, the most thing I'm bothered about is that the game plays and I can enjoy it in English, at least when I can. But PES 2012 is now also in the collection, and I now think is the last PAL PES game we needed. Another Japanese game. It was part of a bundle, and why not? But yeah, I mean, Mahjong is very popular in Japan, and it is also a game that has multiple copies of on the PS2. This is Pro Mahjong Kawame Next. I have no idea what to expect for this, except that there's a lot of Mahjong going on. So yeah, hopefully I can learn the rule. I mean, I know a lot of other challenge runners that learn the rules and get used to this game, so I too will have to learn how to become a Mahjong master. Time for another PAL banger. a big one, a hard one to find. Nearly dropped it. It is another 505 game shoot 'em up. It is Raiden 3. It is the English box art variant, and it is a complete in box. And yes, to anyone out there that is trying to collect all the PAL games, you already probably know about Raiden 3. It's an incredibly rare game, incredibly hard to find, and grab it while you can, if you can. Super cheap. Will be a lucky bonus for you, but yeah, this one is going up. I think it's nearing the £100 mark in the UK now. So yeah, be very aware of Raiden 3. Another Simple 2000 game. I really am curious about this one, honestly. This is the rugby. Yeah, I have no idea what to expect. I did not think this would be a game series that would have like even been conceptualized for the Japanese market. But supposedly this is a very looking anime-esque life sim rugby game. I don't know. I don't know what to expect from this, but I'm super curious. And one day I'd love to give this a go when it comes up in the challenge. But yeah, Simple 2000's The Rugby. Another insanely rare and big game to try and grab for the power collectors out there. This is Samurai Showdown Anthology. Once again, this is the English box art variant, but it really does not matter that much, honestly. This game is just becoming stupidly expensive as well. It includes every single Samurai Showdown game, from the first all the way up to the sixth one. Funny enough, the fifth one has its own standalone release anyway, but this is a full anthology of every Samurai Showdown game. And yeah, complete in box as well. Definitely for power collectors out there, grab this while you can. It is just going up and up and up. I get the Ghouls and Ghost. I get the Dragon's Lair vibes of this one. This is Scandal. I think it's just one of those interactive video games where you have to like press left, press right to avoid gunfire, press the buttons quickly to avoid getting killed. This is very much, I think, just a visual movie interactive game. And yeah, Japanese only. I'm curious to see if I can get through this without too much issue, but nonetheless, it is Scandal. This franchise, there are dime a dozen in Japan, and there's quite a few of them in North America. Well, I think there's only one official Gundam game in Power regions, but this is Gundam Generation Spirits. This is one of those tactical Gundam games where there's going to be a lot of dialogue, a lot of text, and I have to find a way to translate it, but this is I mean, the Gundam games are huge, absolutely huge. Even to this day, they still are around and going. But a series to look out for if you want to collect the Japanese only ones as well. Very curious to see how this plays, and yeah, in the collection now. Now, this one's more of a placeholder game. The other day, I recently beat Shrek 2 on the challenge, and I was looking into games, and I was like, I know I have Shrek, but I do have Shrek Smash and Crash Racing, but I remembered it was the North American version, so this is in my spares pile. So that's why I knew I had this game, but not actually in my collection. I'm just showing this now because I have just recently ordered a PAL version, but this is a placeholder until the PAL version comes. This will be PAL once it arrives, but Shrek Smash and Crash Racing is also now in the collection, and the final Shrek game I needed as well. Another shoot 'em up. Yeah, I was on a bit of a shoot 'em up binge trying to get all the last PAL shoot 'em ups because, you know, they're getting rare. This damn light is annoying me. It turned up at the wrong time. Sylphid, The Lost Planet. Yes, this is a shoot 'em up. And obviously, there's two variants. I was really after this box art variant. There's a Sylphid box art variant, which is like the spicy cheap series. It's got a chili pepper on it. I wasn't a big fan of that box art. I like this one, the OG box art, big box. You can see it, everything like that. But yeah, there's two different box arts. I wanted this one, and yeah, Sylphid is now part of the collection, even though it's now being censored by the Sun. The PS2 PAL game that I think everyone should know about or knows about, or thanks to YouTubers and video content creators. This game is finally in my collection. It is the final Dingo animated Phoenix game I needed. Snow White. and the 7 Clever Boys. It is moderate violence. It should be. It's a cursed game. Its existence is unreal and infamous. It is the English box art variant. I bought this from Australia. I still paid way more than you should, really, for a game like this. But as a PAL collector, you're cursed when you had to spend money on something that is a movie and mini games. But nonetheless, finally have this accursed game in my collection. Cursed game. Now, prior to recording, I was hoping to get the 4th one in this collection of Japanese-only games. Annoyingly, there's just not a good price for it, so hopefully one day I can grab it. But I wanted to show you off the Taito Memory series that I have. This is a anthology of Taito arcade titles that was released, and I have 3 of them so far. I'm missing part Taito Memories 2 Part 2. It is a purple box. It's got like a purple box art to it. Annoyingly, I can't find a fair price for it, so at the moment it's sitting out. I'd like to play these all in one big batch. Do I have it available to get? No, not at the moment. What I want to do with this in my challenge is PAL and North America got 2 Taito games. Taito Memories 1 and 2. Was it Taito Memories? Taito Legends. If Taito Legends comes up, I want to do a massive challenge video, like on the live stream, where I beat Taito Legends 1 and 2. And then once I've beaten all the games on there, we're going to bust these out. Hopefully I'll get the 4th one before we get to that point. And play all the other games that were exclusive to the Japanese market in these collections. But they are unique, and they have some games that weren't added to at least the PS2 collection. Some of these games were added to Xbox and GameCube versions and PC versions to make, like, exclusivity reasons. But, yes, at some point, I'd love to just do one big blowout of all these Taito games. Another Japanese-only game. This one, I believe, is The 12 Kingdoms. It looks really interesting, though. I was part of a bundle once again. I bought the Japanese bundle for the reason of getting Berserk, but there was other games in that Berserk bundle that came with it. And yeah, another game we'll add and see. Hopefully the language barrier doesn't screw with me too much as we check this game out as well. Now, Sykes played this a long time ago in his challenge now, about a good couple of months ago. But another game I thought I had, Twin Caliber. But you look at your list and you go, huh, I don't actually have this. So this is Twin Caliber. It is a very interesting, I think it's a twin stick game where each gun is controlled by a different analog stick and you can shoot in 2 different directions. But it looks interesting, and one day we'll give this a go, and glad to have it in my PAL collection. Now, I'm going to do it again. Here it is. Now, this is Uta. I'm going to butcher this. Utawaramuno. I don't know. Sorry. Now, this is a weird one to explain. Technically, this game came out this game did come out in Japanese only. Now, this game originally came out on PC, and it had some very lewd and risky 18+ only scenes. Those scenes got removed in the Japanese PS2 re-release, and was a Japanese-only title, and remained a PS2 exclusive for a long time. Now, this then also got a PSP release, but also never got a fan translation. This is a 2020 release of the same game, with a few quality of life improvements, visual changes, art changes, but to make the challenge easier and to make it a bit more enjoyable and understandable, I'll be booting this up, showing you the intro, showing you the game for like 5 minutes, but we will be playing what is basically the same game with a few quality of life changes, a few different alterations, and enjoying it in English. But this is one and the same in a sense. There's definitely going to be technicalities. There's definitely people that are going to argue against me and say, no, there's differences. But either way, we'll be playing this and one game beat with a way that you guys can enjoy the visualness and the understanding of the story while playing so. Two more sport titles. I think this is all the UEFA games. I'm going to show these two off quickly as well. It is UEFA Season 2001-2 and the UEFA Euros 2008. Austria, Switzerland. So there we go. Two more UEFA football games. I believe these are the UEFA games I had now and needed. Like I said, we're getting very close to not needing any more PAL games. It's those Phoenix games that are really burning me with both how much I'm going to have to pay and how much I will eventually be playing. Now, technically, I'm not going to add this to the game count, but this is a game I've been wanting for a long time. PAL collectors, North American collectors. You know what this is. Yes, it is the limited edition Ultimate Spider-Man. The game that everyone wants, the game that everyone is sorting after if you're a PAL collector. There are a few scuffs, little scuffs there, but I mean, really, apart from two blemishes, this is a fantastic version. It does come with the manual, the limited edition box art, the limited. Obviously make sure some people are trying to screw people. Make sure that says the limited edition on the disc. Some people are not selling it, and the limited edition manual. Now, a lot of people talk about this, but to my knowledge, this was missold in PAL. It says limited edition bonus features, blah, 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 blah. The bonus one at the bottom, though, is limited edition Spider-Man comic book. Now, I've seen someone open this, a sealed version of this on YouTube, and it does not have a comic. I don't think the PAL version came with a comic, and thus we were missold a limited edition. The only version that has comics, to my knowledge and my research, is the North American versions. I might one day try and just buy a North American comic and put it in with this version just to complete it. But yeah, to my knowledge, PAL never got the comic. So this is the complete in-box version of PAL. So this is well, I've fell in love with this series thanks to this challenge, and I love the anime thanks to this challenge. It's another console Japanese exclusive. This is Hajime no Ippo 2 Victorious Road. Now, we got Victorious Boxers 2 in PAL, but it's actually technically Victorious Boxers 3 in Japan. So this is a exclusive which has this weird RPG Hajime no Ippo mode that I really want to try. Hopefully language barrier doesn't screw me too much. But I'm glad to have this. I love this series and this franchise, and I'm glad to own this exclusive. I don't know how this was missed on the radar, but I've had this in my collection anyway, but just must have forgot to type it up. It's 13. I know about 13. I even played 13 when I was a kid. This is my childhood game 13, but yeah, I eventually will get around to playing this. I don't know why this was never... Well, I can imagine I've missed some other things if I've missed this one, but this was in my collection. 13 is obviously now on the list and is part of the PAL library. I can't remember this one, what it's called now. Yujiro or something. It's another Japanese exclusive game. I'm sorry about the light. The sunlight really has decided to screw up this video near the end. But this is another Japanese exclusive. I think it's another tactical kind of RPG. Hopefully the language barrier won't screw me too much. But it looked really interesting once again and wanted to grab it in my collection. And finally, a North American exclusive. Zatch Bell Momodo Battles. Another North American game I needed to grab. It's part of like these. There's a lot of anime games that I think were shown on like Adult Swim and everything, and they just never came to PAL. But it also comes with the really cool card that is still sealed, so I'm really glad to grab it. And part of the North American exclusives I still needed to get. And to wrap things up, we are going to show off the they're more like big box special kind of editions, but also they're unique games as well, apart from one. I can't even get this on the camera on the table, but I got this! Drum Mania. Japanese exclusive PS2 game. Comes with everything you can imagine. That is the drums and the sticks, and of course a game. So yeah, a game to add to the collection to play at some point. I don't know how I'm gonna beat this or anything, but this came up and it was so interesting. This is Basic Studio. This is, in a sense, a game engine art making program, and this box is, as you can see, pretty damn huge. I'll show it on camera here. I don't really want to get it out, but inside, I will. Screw it. The curious is already there, isn't it? Inside there are not only it's the game, but 3 insanely thick user manuals. So to teach you how to make stuff and what to do. The problem is it is entirely in Japanese, so I won't know how to do any of the what ifs or the how tos or that. So this may just be more of a showcase, this game, than beating it. There's also an actual guide manual. I should read it from this side because that's how you read it. But yes, there is a mini manga that is like helping show this kid how he's programming and making his first game. So this is their idea of a tutorial. It's in a manga style. It's insanely adorable. Look at that. Look at all of that. It's insane. So fantastic way to explain it to kids so they can maybe make their own games and art and programs. And I will look into this, but I wish I understood it a bit more. But either way, it looks incredibly nice, and I wanted to grab it because, yeah, what a unique looking Japanese game. There are 2 infamously harder to find PAL iToy games with big box variants with all the stuff inside. Finally have one of them. iToy Play Hero, I should say, with the camera, the game, and the sword. Here it is. There it is. It is the obviously the English box. I would get the German one if I could. I do still need to get Pom Pom Party, but the real reason you want to get it is for this, though. The iToy Hero Sword. Why is it green? Because it green screens and the iToy tracks it on the camera. Insanely cute. Look at this thing. Has the game and the camera as well in there, but glad to finally have this. I have the power. And to finish it off, the other gimmicky, goofy thing I have, it is the final real play game I needed. Real play racing with the steering wheel. Yep, the real play games are now actually getting really hard to find. I should have bought these a long time ago. You could have bought these sealed and new about a year or so ago. But they're getting very hard now. I had to buy this unboxed, but I'm not that bothered. I'm going to be playing it anyway. So yes, the final real play racing game and the final goofy little accessory game box thing I wanted to show off. One really rare PS2 peripheral I have now. Music 3000, boring. We've all seen that. You can get that for easy. I know. You can all see that. But Music 3000 came with an insanely rare USB sampler. Now, as you can see, it only really was in a CD case like this. And what are you after? You're after this. Look at that. The USB sampler. This is insanely hard to find, this peripheral. I got this from someone on Germany was selling this, but it is obviously the English box art and everything like that. It's a little bit scuffed, but I'm not that bothered about it. This is an insanely hard to find PS2 peripheral. One of another very obscure. One of these was on CX. It got listed, but it went like so quickly. I didn't even get a chance. It's one of those moments where you see it was on the CX, the option to buy was there, but when you clicked on it, it was unavailable. So, yeah, if you want an insanely hard peripheral to get, the Music 3000 USB sampler. There is supposedly an MTV music sampler as well. It's listed on CX, but I've never seen photos of it. I'm sure it exists. Would like to get it one day, but I have at least one of them. And yeah, glad to have it in my collection. Woo! And that is everything. More games to add, more games to put on shelves, more list updates. But that is the PS2 collection updates. As you can see, some bangers, some killer, some filler, some games I thought I had, some games I thought I didn't have, some Japanese curiosities, and everything else in between. As you know, I'm collecting. We are so close to getting like a full PAL set nearly now. I'm basically the PAL games. I need to get all those PAL games out of the way, and then not the Phoenix games out of the way. There's about 20 Phoenix games I need now, all above £100 in price at least to buy. The Phoenix games are going to be the biggest wallet burner. A few AFL games. I think there's a Cabela. I've got a Cabela game that's in North America, but I know it's actually also PAL. Cabela African Safari. I need to get a. I've got the North American version of that. I need to swap that out with a PAL version. But I'm so close. There is the SingStar and Buzz variants. I've said before, I'm not as bothered about them. I'm more into I want the gameplay and unique games for PAL first, and then I'll think about them afterwards. But I can almost smell completion. It's just these last, I'd say, 20 to 40 to maybe 50 PAL games I need that are unique in game design are going to cost me out. Well, they're going to cost me extreme amounts of money. Long gone are the days I can have a little bit of money to the side and buy 5 or 6 games. I'm now going to be putting money to the side and buying one game every so often. But that's the joys of collecting. Anyway, thank you all for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the killer and the filler and everything else. And yeah, I stream and try and beat all these games I'm collecting. I'm not just a collector, I'm also trying to beat and archive and finish them. And if you want to come along, the Twitch, I live stream on Twitch and YouTube now. So you can see all the live beats with all my beats saved as an archive as well. Thank you all, and I hope you enjoyed the update. Until next time.